Rappers and Managers podcast. Tonight we're featuring Toxic Tuesdays. And shout out to everybody that will be joining us tonight. Thank you for coming. You could be anywhere, but you decided to join us tonight, and we really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Shout out to the Cloud Watchers, the Replay Gang, and of course, everybody's who's in the chat. And the man himself, Mr. TSM Rapper. How are you doing this evening, sir? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm having some bad connection issues, but I'm more about dedication. So we're gonna try to get it did either way it goes. And just a disclaimer, Fanny may be doing most of the commentary tonight, and I'm gonna be sitting in the background watching due to like I said the laggy internet. So what we got going on tonight? Let's talk about it.
Well, we got two things on the docket tonight. We're going to first start off with mom gets the police called on her by her children. It's a DV case, and we can't show the video here. But basically, the children saw their parents arguing, and the mom was assaulting the father, and the children were afraid, and they called the police. In the midst of the police arrival, the mom's door was open and they heard some ruckus going on. So they entered the home. The mother came and she was irate. She was like, "Get out, get out, get out of my home. I didn't invite you in here." They were like, "We're here because
So,
we were called."
so when you digging into it, you gotta give them details, such as because people gonna think they enter illegally, which through my eyes it was illegally. But you said it was whatever terms you use, PC, whatever. What terms you use?
Okay. When the police entered the home, the reason why they entered the home was for two reasons. One, it was a DV, and when they got to the when they en- when they came up, they heard a lot of noise, like people were fighting. They also heard children crying in the background. So they had probable cause to enter the home. So when they entered the home, the mother turns to the police officer and she's visibly irate. She's like, "Get out, get out, get out of my home. I didn't invite you guys here. Get out of my home." So the police officer is trying to explain to her why he was there. And the reason why he was there, once again, is that they received a call that it was a DV case and that the children are the ones who placed the call. She has young children. I'm talking like little kids. And I would say they are under the age of maybe 6. And they called because they saw their parents fighting. They saw their mom physically assaulting their dad. They got scared, called the police. Police arrives once again, heard children in the background screaming and crying, arguing. They entered the home. Probable cause. What people have to understand was back in the early 90s, laws were changed because there were so many DV cases and that a lot of people were unalived. And the reason why is because there was a lot of fear that a lot of women, and this is, don't take this the wrong way because there are men that are victims of DV as well, but they were losing their lives at a record number because a lot of women were afraid to press charges. So now, I don't know if it's on all 50 states, but I know in my state that if they have probable cause and they visibly see an assault taking place, or there are clear signs of there has been um, some form of a physical harm towards a person, the state will take it up. It's no longer in that person's hands. They say, "No, I don't want to press charges," or whatever, because sometimes people won't press charges out of fear of retribution or retaliation against the person who's assaulted them, family members, friends, or whatever the case may be. So upon them entering her home, she was irate, and they was trying to find out, what was going on. Kids still crying and screaming in the background. She's totally irate. She just kept insisting on the officers leaving her home. So the police officer, he called for backup, which was his supervisor. They entered the home as well. She kept saying, "Get out, get out. I'll talk to you guys outside of my home." But because of her behavior in a situation with the kids screaming in the background or whatever, they were hesitant about leaving the home, leaving outside of the home and talking to her on her porch. And in the midst of everything, it just went left. The officer was talking about, oh, she scratched me, he hurt, and the one thing that I thought that was very strange about this story
Let me
was
let
that,
me cut in, let me cut in on that part. It was strange, right? Because I've seen cases where the guy will call on his fiance, girlfriend, or whatever the case may be, and say she put her hands on me. And when an officer get there, I hear officers say things like, "I mean, come on, man, she's like 100 pounds soaking wet." Now, I'm pretty sure that didn't do anything to you for you to be able to call us out here. They say stuff like that, but yet they take a woman to jail for, I mean, you've seen it. She barely touched this man.
yeah, the 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 thing that kind of gave me pause about this story was end of the story, what she was charged with. They initially came there on a DV case. She was not charged with DV. She was charged with the assault of the police officer, which he claims that she scratched him. And he admitted in the video that where he claimed that she scratched him at, that it wasn't even red. There was no visible signs of him even being harmed by her. And another thing that bothered me is that when the supervisor came, he was standing in the doorway and he was like, "Well, did she try to grab your weapon?" And he said, "No, she didn't do that." And it's just like, why are we coaching? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we
Yeah,
coaching?
in that case right there, the lady's irate, right? In which she has probable cause to be irate. They're inside her home without her, she don't have any knowledge that this cause taking place, so she has the right to be angry. But the thing with me is, in that case, there was a superior there, there was a public servant there, and as well as I like to believe one of them was head sheriff. But with all those different badges there was nobody there to try to de-escalate the situation. Which I know you said the one officer was talking calm, but there was and usually in those cases there's one officer that will play good cop. The good cop, bad cop. There's one officer that be like, and there was nobody there to do that, and that made the situation much worse. Hey, Josh, thank you so much for coming in. Much respect. We appreciate your thumbs up.
Welcome in, Joshua. Thank you for coming. Yeah, his supervisor was there, and that's what it's like. Why are we coaching? Because he said, did she try to grab your weapon? And he said no. Hey, sissy. And
Hey,
he
thank
said,
you. And you know what, Fanny, this reminds me. Since we're gonna start doing more of these police cases, and this was just a reminder of one where I think there was this case at the airport or something. I don't know what happened at the airport. I believe there was like a lady that got threw off the plane because she was intoxicated. I don't know if she was intoxicated, but that's what they say. And so what happens was when the police get there, the airport worker tells the police that, yeah, we don't want to press charges. We just want her to leave and leave the airport, and she basically gets banned. And the officer forgets to turn off his body cam. He gonna tell her, he say, well, listen, the more we got against these people, the longer we can hold them. And he said, I know that you're not pressured to press charges, but it can help us out because y'all called us out here and we got to deal with it. And for y'all to not want to press charges is wrong. And so he pressured that young lady to press charges on this person. And so there is coaching involved when it comes to these type of things too.
I agree. And the sad thing about the whole thing was the children that were in the home, that they were screaming and they were
Let,
crying.
let me
And
say, Josh. I don't know. I'm gonna have Fanny to reach out to you. You say you almost had 3,000 followers. I want to make a video for you, a shorts for you, a picture, and you use it as a shorts, and that's probably gonna help you gain to the rest of your followers. It'll be something consistent of you playing basketball. So just be looking out for a comment from Fanny. Go ahead, Fanny.
and that's what made it sad for me is the children, because they were sad by the fact that their dad was assaulted by their mom, and the fact that the police tried
But
to.
but Fanny, but would I be wrong if I stopped you and said what assault? Because in the end, we both watched that video. She went to jail for assault on a police officer.
Right,
She
and
never went to jail for assault against that man.
that's why I said that the ending was surprising, because she wasn't charged with DV against him. And so, with that being said, I mean, that was the initial call when they came out to the home. And
And,
it
and
makes
also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
me wonder that, did they override the initial call because they knew that if it was something that involved a police officer, it would stick versus a DV case?
Yeah, you got a point there. Um,
You like you said, you and I both saw the video, and we both saw how irritated that the officers became with her, because she kept on saying, "Get out of my home, get out of my home." You know,
that's definitely true. I believe even with that case, what you said it was a DV call, whatever word you used. I believe with that part right there, when the first officer showed up and entered the home by himself without backup, that was breaking police protocol. First thing first, and second, normally with those calls when a cop shows up he hears someone being beat or he hears someone being hit or assaulted. He just heard arguing with this case, and the fact that when he seen the young woman and she opened the door to show the husband, did you call the police? Husband was like no, and so he sees no assault being taken place, and so with that right there I would have just stepped out the house, because that's just protocol. You only enter the house when there's a situation where someone can defend themselves. And like I say, also that I think protocol 101 is never enter a situation by yourself. As a police officer, you always wait on backup, and so he broke that protocol as well. So there's a lot of rules broken in this thing, and we're gonna get straight into the second topic because we don't have too much time left on here. Fanny, if you want to, thank you for coming, Matthew. Really appreciate you. Everybody
thank you.
that's here, Josh, Helen, Matthew, while y'all under my voice, when we leave this podcast, could y'all please go tap in with I know y'all probably watched it, my latest video. Go give it another play, leave a comment for me. I worked real hard on that song. I wrote that song, and I don't write songs. I wrote that. It took me 3 days. Wanted to make sure it was clean for the kids and make sure everybody enjoyed it. And so please go get an extra play if y'all could. Let's get into it, Fanny.
The second topic we're going to talk about is a situation. Well, she's no longer here with us. She passed away. Her name is Sandra Bland, and this was a story that took place back in 2015. So we talking 10 years ago. Sandra Bland was pulled over by a police officer on the highway. When the police officer approaches her vehicle, um, she's asking him, like, why did you pull me over? That question seemed to bother him. And she lit up a cigarette. He asked her to put the cigarette out. And she's like, why do I have to put my cigarette out? I'm smoking in
She
my car.
lit a cigarette. in her own property, which she has the right to be inside. And we have the right to smoke. This is in our amendments. We have the rights to smoke a cigarette and be in our property at the same time. There was no cause for this officer to ask her to get outside to leave outside her car. Normally, when an officer asks you to get out the car, they have probable cause. They feel like you got something in there that don't belong in there, or they feel like you're intoxicated. So the first thing they do for their safety is ask you to get out the car. This officer wasn't inside any he wasn't in any dangerous situation. And pretty much when he asked her to put the cigarette out, she refused. And that caused him to ask her to get out the car. And that's where the problem started. Go ahead, Fanny. I love the way you narrate these stories.
Thank you. When he asked her to get out the car and she said, why do I have to get out of my car? Because she was smoking a cigarette. He said that's it. He drags her out of her vehicle. He drags her out of her vehicle, which is an assault. So upon that, they go off camera, and that's the big thing. People want to know what happened at that moment because Sandra, she knew her rights. People want to know what happened when they went off the body camera. All we know is she ends up in jail. In 3 days, she's no longer with us. There,
Let's give y'all a want everybody to know, especially the ladies, when you are in these type of situations, you have the full right to have your property on you, such as cell phone. You have the full right to record, even when you're in the back of that police car. You have rights to have your property. You have rights to record until you get to that precinct. You can't bring that cell phone inside the precinct, but you do have rights to record everything that's going on within your traffic stop, whether they take you to jail or not. You're able to have that cell phone. That's your right to have your property until they get there. The police officer's job is to take you off the street. Their job is to not take your property if that property doesn't contain illegal items. And so your cell phone is definitely something that you can have with you, and it's not illegal. Remember that. And if they break your rights, you have the rights to sue them. Go ahead, Fanny.
yeah, it is, Sissy. It's a very, very sad situation because she went to jail. She wasn't able to post her bond, which is the reason why she was in jail for 3 days. Within that 3 day span of time, Sandra was no longer with us. She had passed away. And the question was, what happened? What happened with her from the moment she entered that jail versus her not being able to come home to be with her family? And and the, and the thing of it is a picture of her that was
Hold on, Fanny. Hold on. Let's not skip details. When she was found unalived, she was found self. That's what they say. Mind you, before she went to jail, she had so many things coming her way, new job, career opportunities, new things, and she was really excited for. And so, her family felt she had no reason to do that. And so, Fanny's gonna continue the story, but that's how she was found unalived.
yeah, she and to add to that too, TSM, thank you for reminding me of that. She did have a lot of run-ins with the police. She did have a history with the police. And the speculation is because she had several different run-ins with the police, they knew her. They were familiar with her. And the mere fact that she had history with the police, she had changed her life around, she is starting a new job, she became an advocate and things of that nature. Because you got to think about it. What would cause an officer who doesn't really even know you in your own vehicle, to stop you and you light a cigarette to begin to smoke your cigarette And next thing you know, have been dragged out of your own vehicle.
Yo, Yee, and the gang, thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate it. You don't mind. After this, after you leave this podcast, go to my latest post, leave a comment so that I can get back to your channel and show some love to you. Um, and so, as Fanny was saying about this picture, you know, this picture wasn't taken the moment it was supposed to be taken when she first got booked into this jail. That picture hadn't got took yet. Now, after her death, this booking photo was released, and it was strange because she have locks such as I do, right? And so when you're standing up, your locks hang down, and when you're laying on your back, your locks kind of drag down to the floor. And this picture, people looked at the picture, and even professionals, and they said that this young lady wasn't even alive in this booking photo. So basically, they took this picture after they did, or after what happened to her already happened, and somebody figured that out just at, because they figured her eyes wasn't right in the first place. And so after they did the analyst, they looked at her locks in the back and they kind of like hang down like they're being pulled down by gravity. And so yeah, go ahead, Fanny.
And the thing else was so disturbing about this story, it was during a time where there were a whole bunch of black and brown people who were being unalived by officers. And I want to give a disclaimer. This is not any means necessary that we're police bashing, that we're trying to, cause discord with citizens and police officers. And I want to just personally say my condolences. I know it's been many, many years since Sandra has been gone. I send my sincere condolences to her family and friends and her community as a whole, because no one deserves what happened to her. Nobody deserves what happened to her, and to know that, she had run ins with the police and they were familiar with her, that in itself was disturbing to me. And when I saw that picture, it was just like something is not right. And for them to have such an elaborate cover up, it was just really, really sad, because no parent wants to get that phone call. No parent wants to get that. And the fact that, she was taken so soon, so soon. She had so much to
Um,
offer
and,
this world.
and also I want to add that there's not a lot being covered on this, and we know it could be 10 years old or so, but even if there's not enough people raising awareness about the situation, and this is how so much corruption goes on. And so y'all definitely be looking out for Fanny and our version of a small, maybe 10 to 15-minute documentary on what we think happened. We're gonna take some photos and we're gonna do our research, and we're gonna do some voiceover and a commentary for y'all. So definitely be looking out for that. But I feel like we've been doing excellent in raising awareness, and so we definitely got more of these coming for you guys.
And once again, thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. We really appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here. And shout out to the Cloud Watchers and the Replay Gang, and especially everyone who joined us in the chat. Thank you so much, TSM. I really appreciate you, and thank you so much once again, and for bringing stories like this to life, because, like you said, people need to be aware. Women need to be aware of your rights, your surroundings, especially when you're traveling alone. And there's been situations where women been in a car with their children. They've been in a car with their husbands. And and you just have to be careful and know your rights. Know your
You know, man. you're right. That's the biggest thing, Fanny. The rights. We're gonna have to touch on a lot of this stuff. Like I said, we just now getting into this, really, and it was natural for us. It's not like we planned it out. And I don't know. Do you remember the one story I had told y'all, Fanny, about the guy who showed us when I was a kid? He showed us the picture of his daughter and told all of us, "You gonna marry her." You don't remember that picture? I mean, you don't remember that story?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we're gonna. We're gonna do a revisit on that story. We definitely need to start raising more awareness. If you want to go ahead and shout out the sponsors for the night before we get up out of here, and also I just want to say thanks to everybody that came, even if it was a small audience tonight. This was I would say we didn't promote it. We didn't plan it tonight. Usually we go on at 8:39 flat, but it was a lot of things in the background that I had to take care of. So we just kind of like naturally did it. And so we glad that somebody did come and listen to what we had to say. Fanny, you want to shout out the sponsors and also give some closing words?
Yes, and shout out once again to Apex for sponsoring tonight's podcast. And go get your Apex electronic gear, whether it be headphones or whatever. Just know that you're gonna get quality electronics when you get on with Apex. And don't forget your nail polish. We got jet black, molasses black, and what's the other one, TSM?
Matt Black,
I said matte black.
Jet
Matte
Black,
black,
Molasses Black,
black.
Jet Black, Molasses. Cause I got the bottles, I got the bottles downstairs.
And also, he's also coming with two shades of blue. So be on the lookout for that as well. And also, go over to the spread shop and get you some merch. Get that merch, get
Definitely,
that merch. They
definitely.
got everything from babies all the way up to the adults. Go over there and get you some merch over there. And thank you once again for everybody who joined us tonight. We really appreciate each and every one of you guys. And let me not forget, Reverb Nation, thank you so much for joining us as well. We really appreciate each and every one of you who are consistently joining us and showing us love as well. And in
Yo,
closing,
shout out to Stephanie for the reminder. It's Jet Black, Matte Black, and Molasses Black.
shout out to you, baby. um, I just want to say thank you for everybody coming once again. And in my closing, I just want to say, remember, as long as you put God first, and just know that He will never leave you, nor will He forsake you, and you're always protected and covered by Him. And remember, know what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. Your strength will always lie within. TSM.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just want to say, listen, no matter what you may be going through, it's always somebody out there going through worse. That person is just more they face and put that negativity behind them. But definitely tap in with the spread shop. We got so many great items and we got affordable items for y'all. We got little buttons for $2.99 if you want to represent. We gonna be working on some new designs. So y'all just make sure that y'all tap in on the new designs. Thank y'all so much for coming. I love everybody. We also got a new we got a new I wouldn't say fan, we got a new supporter. Shout out to Sharissa. Also shout out to Dariana. Shout out to Cardasia and everybody else in the background that be watching. Till next time, y'all have a great one, man.
Good night, everybody.